Pichet first came to you, um, did you see immediately that he was suitable for the giant role? I know that there are different types of giant roles, and was it his character or was it his body shape that told you that maybe there's a specific role that was suitable for Pichet, or is it because the giant role was your own speciality and therefore Pichet learned whatever you know you were specializing in?
Giant role เวลาเช่นมานะครับพ่อเวลาเช่นมาขอเรียนเวลาดูแล้วดูหน่วยก้านแล้วเนี่ยพ่อเห็นว่าเป็นอะไรได้เป็นเพราะว่าหน่วยก้านเขาถึงฝึกอันนี้ให้หรือว่าเป็นเพราะว่าพ่อ
เป็นคนสอนยักษ์
เป็นตัวสอนเป็นคนสอนยักษ์ก็เลยต้องสอนอันนี้ให้เขามันเป็นอะไรมันหรือว่ามันยังไงคะ
คือลักษณะและท่วงท่าลักษณะทั้งตัวคือจะไปเป็นอย่างอื่นมันเป็นไม่ได้จะเป็นลิงก็เป็นไม่ได้จะเป็นพระก็เป็นไม่ได้แต่ถ้าจะเป็นพระในลักษณะที่เขาจะให้ไปเล่นเรื่องอะไรนั่นพอได้นะแต่ถ้าจะเอามาเป็นลิงในลักษณะที่เขาจะไปเป็นก็พอได้อะไรเงี้ยแต่ถ้าหลักจริงๆแล้วลักษณะท่าทางหรือลักษณะส่วนตัวของเขาทั้งรูปร่างเนี่ยมันอยู่เข้าในสเปคของการที่เลือกตัวของผู้จะเป็นตัวอะไรนี่อย่างพี่เจษนี่รูปร่างใหญ่คอยาวช่วงแขนช่วงขาได้สัดได้ส่วนสมแต่ถ้าช่วงตัวยาวสักนิดหนึ่งก็จะเหมาะทีเดียวเลยไม่ผิดอะไรกับที่เขาตั้งลักษณะเอาไว้เพราะฉะนั้นพอมองเห็นแล้วจะให้ไปเป็นอย่างอื่นเป็นไม่ได้ถ้าเป็นยักษ์เนี่ยเหมาะที่สุด
He said when he came to see and asked to be his student, he looked at him and he has the character. He has the right body for being a big giant. But he said, well, when he came to see and asked to be his student, he looked at him and he has the character. The first one is sit, and when you sit, then you have to open up your chin. Just make it so that your face is not bending going forward or like look down all the time. So you have to make sure that your chin has open. And then the other thing is that you have to be clear about the rhythm. So the rhythm, and then you do it by have the student sit down and clear with body position. The body has to be straight up, and still they have to open up the chin. The head has to be straight, look straight.
เปิดไปข้างไปก่อนไม่เอาใหม่ไปพร้อมๆกันเอียงตัวแล้วก็แทงอย่าไปโยกเนี่ยอยู่นะเอียงเฉยอย่าโยกอย่าโยกมันจะเข้าจังหวะกับไป กระทบเท้าทีหลังเปิดไปค้างไว้ตัวนะ
So when he's not with Klunchun, what does he do to make sure that he's in correct position?
ถ้าไม่อยู่กับพ่อรู้ได้ไงว่าอันนี้พอดี
รู้ได้ยังไงว่าพอดีผมจะทำอย่างเงี้ยผมจะทำเองด้วยการที่ทำเหมือนที่พ่อทำแล้วก็ใช้มือเนี่ยรีดไปที่คอตัวเองแล้วมันจะรู้สึกว่าตรงนี้มันตึงพอตรงนี้มันตึงเนี่ยก็คือสิ่งที่มั่นใจได้ว่าอันนี้ใช่ด้วยความรู้สึกที่คุ้นเคยอันที่ผ่านมาด้วยที่พ่อ
จำจากความรู้สึก
แล้วก็รีดมันขึ้นไปทุกครั้ง
So he's doing his own, but then he said once he already know, then he can recognize by feeling that this is right, this is right. But then he's also stated from the beginning that he's already know it. But then when he come back, it's just that he can recognize where it is. So the other one is like Tong Il. Again, he's talk about rhythm. We should do this. He want him to do two things: be sideways and pull it in the same time. ฮะ
กลับคนละข้างท้องขวาไปซ้าย
อ๋อเหรอฮะOh, sorry. So it's a different way. If you do this, you take the opposite side, and still he has to open up his chin, and the other thing is that this is like has to be up here, not like this. It has to be press it back into your body and open up, not going this way, not going in. Just has to open.
Is there a reason why it needs to be here?
มีเหตุผลไหมคะว่าทำไมมาอย่างนี้ไม่ได้ทำไมต้องเปิดเป็นข้าง
มีเหตุผลที่มีก็คือตรงนี้คือเราย่อเหลี่ยมอย่างนี้ท้องเอวเกี่ยวกับส้นเท้าสัมพันธ์กับส้นเท้าในเวลาออกท่าคือถ้ายกดิมันก็เหมือนสองนี้อันนี้เหมือนกันแต่ทีนี้ว่าคอนี่ยักข้างเดียวกับเท้าไม่ข้างเดียวกับท้องเอวพอแป๊กยกนิ่งให้ได้จังหวะเหลี่ยมให้ได้เลยนะนิ่งตรงกลางไปกลางเส้นเสา1 2 3ปิดจังหวะใช่ไหม1ยกซ้าย2ยกขวา3ยกซ้ายนิ่งแล้วจะเต้นไปตามจังหวะต้องใช้กำลังขานะหัวเท้าเนี่ยติดพื้นไว้ตัวจะได้ไม่งอแงกยืนมามือไปกวาดทำไมเล่ายืนเนี่ยยกเฉยอย่าไปกวาดออกไปรวบรวมอะไรมาไม่เอาไปค้างไว้ปิดจังหวะนะ1นี่นะยกนิ่ง นิ่งวางนิ่งทีนี้ไปตามจังหวะไม้หนึ่งยังไม่ลงจังหวะที่สองดูยกจังหวะครูก็เคาะแตกแตกแตกลงจังหวะที่สองย่อไว้ยกนี่น้องไว้มือเท้าที่คืนไว้จังหวะสองนะหนึ่งสองลงไปตามจังหวะแบบไปนั่นแบบไปหยิบน้องนั่นตัวนิ่งๆแบบไปแบบไปนั่นนิ่งยกไปยกไว้นั่นนั่นยกไปแต่ไปเท้าไปด้วยวางไปเท้าไปข้างๆต้นเท้าห่างกันหน่อยอย่าไปซ้อนกันนั่นวางจังหวะนับนะนับแล้วขวานะหนึ่งสองนับฝาสามห้าทีสี่วางมือลงวงเอาใหม่มือลงวงพร้อมกับหยุดนิ่ง
สาม
สี่ห้านิ่งน้ำหนักไหนน้ำหนักนี่นะฮะเอวเท้าทรงตัวหน้าไว้เอวนั่นนี่หนึ่งสองสามนะนิ่งยืดทบวางหนักซ้ายยืดยกเก็บเนี่ยแบบเลี่ยมไปแบบเลี่ยมเอานิ่งยืดทบวาง
เต้นเสา it has to be in a training
ใช่
นะครับ
ใช่
ทุกวัน
ทุกวัน
every
ทุกครั้ง
day when you're a student you have to do it every day before you start some other thing so he has to do this and then he said very very painful very terrible but after 5 or 6 years it pay you back because your body is getting better you're really a strong person you can do many things you're not sick and you can walk more you can do a lot of things more than other people you bear more things and you don't go to hospital you don't sick at all so actually it's pay back all these things it's a kind of medicine to him it's a kind of medicine it's pay you and it's very rewarding because you had a better body than ordinary
วัสดิ์เพียงขาดใจจึงปราศัยทอดสนิท
4 ปีก็เท่าไหร่11 ปี11 ปีเนี่ยทนอย่างเนี้ยแต่มันเบื่อมา 4-5 ปีนี่เบื่อมามากๆนี่พอไปนานๆเข้าความเคยชินเกิดความเบื่อไม่ได้เราจะต้องรักสิ่งเหล่านี้ตรงนี้เอาไว้ให้มากที่สุดและมันก็มาถึงกับช่วงร่างกายเราไม่มีไข้เจ็บไม่ปวดไม่ไข้ไม่เมื่อยไม่ล้าไม่ปวดเราสามารถจะไปไหนไกลๆได้เลยทรมานอะไรก็เดินได้สบายความเมื่อยล้าไม่มีแต่ตรงนี้มันเป็นยาชนิดหนึ่งทำให้ร่างกายแข็งแรงอย่างดีที่สุดเลยแล้วเราก็อดทนได้ทุกสภาวะการได้ทั้งนั้นใจจริงทุกสิ่งสารหวังสวัสดิ์มาดหมายมาอีวายวันจะรับควันนายนาจะรับควันนายนามาธานีที่ผูกใจจึงไปดลจิตเจ้าให้สมยงนงยาวให้ชมยงนงยาวมาหาพี่จงพินพันพักตรา
สกันตกตะลึงแล้วจึงว่าไม่ทันคิดผิดจริงเจียวนัดดาอย่าถือโทษเลยนะอย่าถือโทษเลยนะลุงตาลายสู่แข่งขืนยืนเกยเพื่อตรัสแม่ล้านตักศึกสมอารมณ์หมายเมืองมารจะเป็นสุขสนุกสบายเร่งพันพายไปเจ้าเร่งพันพายไปให้ทันการ
จริงมันไม่มีเหตุผลผมว่ามันไม่มีเหตุผลเพียงพอกับการที่ผมจะตอบคำถามคนอื่นได้เมื่อคนอื่นถามว่าเฮ้ยงานคุณเพื่ออะไรงานคุณจะบอกอะไรนะนี่คือเหตุผลหนึ่งอีกเหตุผลหนึ่งก็คือว่าถ้าผมไม่มีประเด็นแล้วผมไม่สามารถทำงานต่อได้เพราะผมเป็นคนที่ไม่ทำงานด้วยการเอาของเก่ามาทำใหม่อย่างเช่นพรุ่งนี้เล่นยกลบอีกวันหนึ่งเล่นจับนางผมไม่เคยทำงานแบบนี้เพราะผมถือว่าสิ่งเหล่านี้เนี่ยมันไม่ใช่วิสัยของผมมันเป็นวิสัยของคนอีกกลุ่มหนึ่งที่เขาอนุรักษ์เอาไว้เพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยผมต้องทำอันใหม่ให้ได้ก็เลยว่าประเด็นเนี่ยมันเป็นจุดแรกที่นำพาไอเดียนำพาองค์ประกอบของอื่นๆเนี่ยมารวมกันในด้านดราม่าแล้วผมคิดว่าสิ่งที่ผมคิดไม่ใช่สิ่งใหม่มันคือสิ่งที่ครูโบราณคิดไม่อย่างนั้นงานมันออกมาไม่ได้แต่ว่าคนปัจจุบันเนี่ยมันฉลาดน้อยไปนิดนึงมั้งนาฏศิลป์ไทยมันเป็นเรื่องของความงามตอนนี้ความงามมันไม่พอแล้วณปัจจุบันแค่ความงามอย่างเดียวมันเอาไม่อยู่เพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยงามอย่างเดียวไม่พอก็เลยต้องหาวิธีอื่นก็คือต้องจริงด้วยแล้วก็จับต้องได้ด้วยเป็นเรื่องที่ผมมองว่าเฮ้ยอะไรคือลำไทยถ้าคนที่เรียนนาฏศิลป์ไทยมองเนี่ยจะบอกว่าถ้าเป็นคนเรียนพระนางมองจะบอกว่าท่ารำทั้งหมดเนี่ยมันจะต้องมาจากเพลงช้าเพลงเร็วแม่บทเล็กแม่บทใหญ่เนี่ยทั้งหมดเนี่ยแหละก็คือลำไทยแต่ถ้าท่าเนี่ยไม่ได้อยู่ในนี้เนี่ยคือไม่ใช่เป็นแบบเฮ้ยไม่ใช่แล้วนี่ไม่ใช่ลำไทยนี่คือวิธีการคิดที่ผมคิดว่าตรงนี้คือสิ่งที่ผิดผมนิยามด้วยท่าคือท่าลำไทยไม่นิยามด้วยชุดการแสดงว่าเป็นลำไทย
Do you feel that these elements are missing or because you did say that the traditional form centers a lot about beauty but for you it needs the other two elements of the truth, I mean, in terms of issues or message, and then the question of a concrete performance. So, do you feel that audience of the current generation will not appreciate the traditional form as it is, and therefore that's why you are interested in recreating the traditional form into something which you feel will attract and perhaps better communicate with the contemporary audience.
I Am a Demon was first staged in 2006 in Bangkok, and it marks a certain kind of trajectory for Pichet Klunchun, where he began to research into contemporizing his traditional training. And more than that, I Am a Demon was also autobiographical to a certain degree, where he was trying to pay tribute to his master, Pichet, who I would say single-handedly trained Pichet since the age of 16 into the role of this demon. Just a little bit of background into the traditional form of Khon, the Thai traditional form of Khon. It is actually a dance drama, and it specifically tells stories from the Ramayana, which I'm sure all of you are quite familiar with. And in I'm a Demon, it shows us a particular role that the particular Thai Khon performer has to embody throughout his traditional or classical career, actually. And for Pichet Klunchun, it was the role of the demon, or you would know it as the role of the Rakshasa or Ravana, actually. My name is Hao Nien, and I'm one of the co-curators for Jejak-Tabi. Thank you so much for staying for tonight, for coming to tonight's show. We'll now slowly go into the second part of tonight's proceedings, where we will have a question and answer session. I'd like to ask Helly to join us, and she will probably help with translation and interpretation as much as possible. Why don't you start by interpreting, or start by whatever I've said so far.
Tadi Hongyan menjelaskan kalau I'm a Demon diciptakan tahun 2006 dan pertama kali dipentaskan di Bangkok, dan karya ini memang sangat autobiografikal tentang pengalaman Pichet pribadi berlatih tari Khon, tari klasik Thailand, yang sebetulnya 9 kali ya, dan drama yang berdasarkan epik Ramayana. Dan I'm a Demon ini biasanya Pichet memerankan raksasa, tokoh raksasa, yaitu Rahwana.
At this point in time, I'd just like to maybe refocus a bit back onto our entire program of Jejak-Tabi exchange. For some of you who kindly came to our opening last night would have also witnessed the particular exhibition that was put up with painstaking research for 3 years by Linda Nisea over somewhere here. And it was research into the modernizing of dance in Yogyakarta.
Mungkin yang ketinggalan semalam, kita buka Jejak-Tabi, acara Jejak-Tabi ini semalam di Cemeti dengan satu pameran berbasis arsip yang berdasarkan penelitian dari 3 orang sebetulnya, Linda, Muhammad Abe, dan Sulu Senja, dan tentang sekelumit sejarah tari Indonesia setelah masa penjajahan, pasca kolonial.
So for tonight in I Am a Demon, I think what we would like to do is to actually put in another perspective of a different kind of dance from the same region, if you can, if you permit, in Southeast Asia, where we also have a different perspective of the ways that a particular style, classical style, is modernized or contemporized.
Jadi mungkin malam ini kita ingin mengambil satu perspektif yang agak berbeda, tapi dari kawasan Asia Tenggara juga, bagaimana upaya untuk menciptakan tanda kutip pendekatan modern atau pendekatan kontemporer terhadap satu bentuk tari tradisional yang mungkin ada kesamaan pengalaman, tapi ada perspektif yang berbeda karena dari Asia Tenggara.
I think this is a topic that is very that is almost obsessive or an obsession for Pichet also, in terms of what does it mean to be a classically trained performer and yet living in contemporary times.
Jadi mungkin topik ini menjadi salah satu obsesi atau tema yang seringkali diangkat termasuk juga di praktek koreografi Pichet, bagaimana sebagai seorang penari yang dasarnya itu tari klasik atau tari tradisional tertentu dan yang hidup di zaman sekarang dan berusaha mencoba untuk mengkontekstualisasikan dengan masa sekarang.
I think maybe I should start by asking a few questions. Later on, I would really encourage all of you to think of questions or feedback about what we just saw.
Mungkin Hongyan sekarang akan menanyakan beberapa hal ke Pichet, dan setelah itu silahkan penonton yang ingin mengajukan pertanyaan juga ke Pichet.
I think the first question before that I need to ask, is there anyone in the audience or who has actually witnessed or observed or experienced this Thai classical dance called? Has anyone? Dr. Gohan, Akane doesn't count because Akane is part of the team.
Ada yang pernah nonton tari klasik pon? Tadi Matthew yang Akane nggak hitung.
One more. I'm sorry.
Mas Aji nggak pernah.
Thai natives do not count. We're talking to our Jogja friends at the moment. I think what is very similar, I think, is that in most Southeast Asian countries where there is a very rich tradition and classical aesthetics when it comes to performing arts, there is always different ways and strategies of modernizing, contemporizing it to, if nothing else, to suit the modern world, to suit the modern audience.
Mungkin di kawasan Asia Tenggara itu umumnya karena kita banyak tradisi tari yang kaya di Asia Tenggara, dan selalu ada upaya untuk bagaimana sih memodernisasikan atau mengkontemporerkan warisan ini ke dalam supaya bisa sesuai dengan zaman kita sekarang misalnya.
So we are speaking to a completely new group of friends who have just witnessed your work. Maybe it's time to hear a bit about how then, what does it mean to you as a classical trained dancer who also wants to be a contemporary performer, a contemporary artist actually?
Jadi pertanyaannya Hongyan, sebagai seseorang yang penari yang akar tarinya, latar belakang tarinya itu di salah satu disiplin tari klasik, tapi juga ingin mencoba untuk melahirkan satu karya baru, itu apa artinya buat untuk
Okay, the way I learned from the classical is an unusual way. That's why I became like this. And the unusual way is mean normally Thai people, they went to the National School of Dance to learn the classical training. But for me, I learned from the family. Okay, it's totally different. And I never get into class from the National School of Dance. anymore. Yeah, with the master.
Mungkin cara Pichet belajar tari klasik Klon itu memang sangat tidak biasa untuk kebanyakan orang Thailand, karena biasanya kebanyakan mereka belajar tari Klon ini di Akademi Nasional Tari di Thailand. Tapi kalau Pichet justru belajar dari gurunya. But it's not the family, but it's
yes, the master.
Yeah.
And the most difference is my body, my movement is belong to the master, belong to the classical movements, but my brain and my idea and my heart is belong to me.
Mungkin bedanya tadi saya lupa, kalau dia memang tidak pernah masuk ke satu kelas pun yang di sekolah akademi di Akademi Nasional itu, dan kalau dia belajar dengan empu tari ini, ya semua tekniknya sebetulnya milik si empu, tapi otaknya dia dan hatinya dia dan dirinya dia itu milik dia sendiri.
Okay, why I'm talking about this, because if you are a traditional student, you believe for the master, you believe in the God, you believe, it's a part of the culture. You believe without knowing why you are believing.
Karena biasanya, kenapa dia bilang begitu? Karena biasanya kalau murid yang belajar tari pada seorang empu tari secara tradisional itu biasanya berdasarkan kepercayaan, berdasarkan bahwa ya, percaya sama gurunya dan percaya kepada Tuhan, percaya, tapi apapun yang ya, tapi tidak mengerti, tidak memahami kenapa dia percaya semua itu.
Yes, because I have a lot of questions, my movements, even my master. Yeah, like from the first day. This is the whole my life. I deal with the tradition like this. I believe in it, but I don't believe in it. Yeah, until I find the answer, yes, I say yes. If I could not find the answer clearly, I will like, no, we are separate. Yeah.
Karena pendekatan Pichet selalu begitu dari hari pertama latihan, selalu penuh dengan pertanyaan juga ke empunya. Jadi dan kalau terkadang juga sangat berbeda dan akhirnya bisa bilang, maaf aja saya nggak percaya apa yang kamu katakan, dan ya ada semacam perpisahan perbedaan ya.
This is a big problem for the Southeast Asia training in the classical dance. Yes, yeah, performance. You have you believe, but you don't know why you believe in it, and because of the culture, it's become another question. What does the culture mean?
Itu mungkin bukan cuma pengalaman dia, tapi pengalaman di Asia Tenggara juga. Kalau misalnya belajar satu tari klasik dan harus percaya benar-benar, tapi sebetulnya nggak tahu apa yang, tidak memahami apa yang dia percayai.
Yeah, that's why I'm a demon star. Because I am a demon. I'm not represent anybody, any character. Because in the tradition, you are present the character. You present Ravana, Rama, whatever. But for me, I want to present myself. How can I be myself? This is my idea for this production, and connect to the master. Yes.
Jadi buat Pichet, karya ini saya balik dari belakang. Jadi karena biasanya kalau di tradisi itu setiap penari memerankan sebuah karakter, apakah Rama, apakah Rahwana. Sementara kenapa dia bilang I'm a demon di sini? Karena dia tetap dia gitu, tetap dirinya.
I quite have studied Pichet, I would say, career development in contemporary dance, and one of the research question, one of his persoalan yang utama for Pichet, switching, I'm sorry. One of the main questions that Pichet always has is actually about the self, what it means to develop the self. in many classical forms, there is very little of the self. There are characters. So I think for especially this one, this first show that he's done, I Am the Demon, the idea is to say, I am the demon. I am the one. That this is who I am, rather than say, I am playing Ravana.
Jadi Hongyan mengikuti rekam jejak karir Pichet cukup lama di ranah kontemporer. Jadi kalau menurut tafsirnya, karena di sini mengapa Pichet bilang I'm a demon, justru karena dia ingin, karena dalam ranah tradisi selalu pertanyaannya adalah diri itu apa sih? Gitu. Diri saya itu siapa sih? Karena selalu memerankan karakter-karakter itu. Jadi di sini Pichet sebetulnya saya adalah I don't know, some iblis or it's not.
No, it's the character of Ravana. So the generic term for all Ravana and his soldiers, it refers in Thai, refers to them as demon, or the more correct definition that is used in English language, we always say giant also.
Jadi sebetulnya demon di sini merujuk ke peran yang selalu Pichet mainkan kalau di dalam tari klasik, yaitu peran Rakwana, yang kalau di dalam bahasa Inggris lebih ke peran raksasa.
Okay, this is 2005, but the piece is not success. The piece is not success. It's no audience. Absolutely no audience. And I perform in Thailand. I perform in the rooftop, and the space is half of this space. I have 3 audience. Yes, in that time I have 3 audience.
That was me.
Yeah.
Yes. Jadi terjemahan yang
And a lot of problem. Yes, with the traditional side, the conservative people. I got a problem more 10 years. Yeah, with this production.
Kali ini dipentaskan tahun 2005 di Bangkok dan nggak sukses. Dia dipentaskan di rooftop di atas atap sebuah gedung yang ukurannya setengah dari teater ini, dan penontonnya cuma 3. Dan dia salah satunya Hongyan. Dan banyak kontroversi dari komunitas tari klasik, banyak kritikan yang tentang karya ini.
I just want to add that it's funny because it is exactly what he said. I experienced the rejection of the classical community in Thailand to some performance such as this. But at the same time, from a foreign point of view, someone outside, a scholar, a dance researcher, enthusiast, the show actually offered great insights into, number 1, the training of this particular form. Number 2, it offers also the kind of discipline that was required. And number 3, what you saw just now with some of the movements, some of them were warm-up, but some of them were exercises, but some of them were also performances. But what we actually see is very clearly the intricate movement of the body, stripped of all the external, I would say, decoration, because the Thai classical dance usually has very heavy, ornate, ornamental costume, mask, so on.
Sebagai penonton, salah satu dari 3 penonton waktu itu sebetulnya, dan sebagai orang luar yang bukan orang Thai, Hongyan merasa justru sangat tertarik dengan karya ini waktu itu, karena karya ini banyak sekali mengungkap proses di balik tari kon itu, misalnya melalui bagaimana tubuh itu dilatih supaya bisa menarikan tari tersebut. Dan dari pertunjukan ini kan bisa kelihatan mana yang warming up, mana yang pemanasan, mana yang latihan, dan mana yang pertunjukan. Jadi buat dia sangat bermanfaat melihat ini, karena bisa melihat apa yang terjadi di tubuh.
Karena biasanya kalau nonton tari klasik pon yang seperti pada konteks umumnya dengan kostum, itu kostumnya sangat menutup sekujur tubuh, termasuk juga topeng. Jadi topengnya tuh bukan cuma topeng ini, tapi menutup seluruh kepala. Jadi nggak kelihatan sebetulnya tubuh apa yang terjadi dengan tubuhnya dalam menarikan tari pon.
Yes, the audience. Oh my God.
Here we have already one there. Do we have an extra mic? No, we don't.
Ya, Assalamualaikum. My name is Pasya from Indonesia. I want to ask to the dancer, what's the name, sorry?
Pichet.
Pichet. Yes, Mr. Pichet. Where is the disbelief feelings come to you in the beginning? I mean, why that come to your feeling? Why you can disbelieve your culture? I don't know, do you born in Thailand?
Yes.
Big in Thailand?
Yes.
How can that disbelief come to you?
Belief yang mana?
Disbelief.
Disbelief.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So the question is, you are always questioning, and there are times when you don't believe. So this gentleman is asking, so why don't you believe when you are born in Thailand and you grew up in Thailand and you live in Thailand and you still have questions and you still sometimes don't believe in some of the things that you have been taught?
How can that be?
How is that possible? That's a very big question. Please feel free to ask the question in Bahasa Indonesia also, yeah?
Why I disbelieve in my culture and everything? Yes, it's a long journey of the idea. The first is I think it's starting from my personal background. I'm born in the province. I born in the province, and then when I 12 years, I went to Bangkok, to the city, and I quite lonely in that time. I'm not feel good with the city. Okay. Yes. And I decide to be a policeman. Okay, I decide to be a policeman, but I'm lazy. Yeah. I think the art is only one way. Yes, you're laughing. I'm laughing too. Yeah. It's the only one way I can study. This is like when you was young, you think art is like easy and then nothing. You just go into the class and then you practice, and then you can if you're lazy, you can walk out of the class. Nobody care. Even right now, if I do something bad, I can say I'm an artist. Right? And then he's an artist. I don't understand why. We have very, very special position in the society.
Thank you.
No, I believe in my culture. I believe in it. But I need the question. Okay. Your knowledge and your own knowledge and the knowledge from you remember from the person telling you is not you. Okay. All the movements I learned from my master is not, I didn't know anything. This is from the memory. You understand? This is from the memory. And then I'm questioning myself, how can I make it from my own. It's not from the brain memory. Yeah, it's precise. This is too much to think about this. It's everything is from the memory. Yeah, for me the memory is not a knowledge. It's a memory. Yeah, if when you memorize any memory and everything, you can memory. You can do it too. But something special from you, that is not the memory. You know, just only you. That is your own. That's why I'm very curious about this.
I think maybe a better word to say whether it's not about whether you believe or not believe in culture, and you said that you believe in your culture. I think it's about also a feeling. It's whether you love your culture and you're brought up in the culture. Most of the time, all of us say we don't really have a choice because we are in the culture. But also, as I would like to think, all of us here are intelligent and we are thinking artists. There are questions. There are always questions. Why this way and not the other way?
I can give one experience why I become like this. Yeah, because I want to be a Rama, the prince. Yeah. In the traditional culture, my face is very ugly. Yes, because the Rama face, they have like typical culture. It's like beautiful like this. And then, yeah, I'm very upset. Yes, I'm very upset. I think in that point, I said, okay, I don't care. I do my own way. Yeah. This is happened when I study at the university. And do the makeup thing. I hate it because when I do makeup, I look very ugly. And then I stopped to do makeup. All my performance without makeup.
Just to go back to the performance, well, Pichet has a very interesting, even academic journey. It's not just classical training, but he also went to a very prestigious university, Chulalongkorn, and he also actually specialized in drama and theatre. So there are certain already different aspects compared to, say, a completely traditional or classical performer who is not quite exposed to different kinds of disciplines and different kinds of forms. I think we've gone so far already, but I just want to quickly add also just a bit more context. In terms of the classical form, Thai form, it is very strict. If you heard or if you caught the interview just now, when you go, especially whether if it's even with the national school, when you go in to train and you want to learn the classical form Korn, you will train the basic. After a certain age, the master will actually come and you'll be selected for the role, like I said. Like, that's why he's the demon. Based on your body shape, based on your face, based on how you look, right? And I think this is also quite true with quite a few classical and traditional art forms in Indonesia, right? I remember when I was learning topeng, straight away they said you have to learn Rakshasa and nothing else because I'm too big to play any of the halus role.
For me, this is unfair for people. If I want, and then my face is not like that. Yeah. Yes, it's unfair. For me, this is unfair. Everything is like master design. Yes.
Let's move on. We have any other comments or feedback. Please feel free to express in Bahasa Indonesia. If we have enough interpreters.
Hi. Thank you for the beautiful piece and the good sense of humor, Mr. Pichet. My name is Sok and I'm from Singapore. My question is, you mentioned that this piece was first created and staged in 2005. So it's been 13 years that you're staging it today. how does it feel different for you, or how has it transformed you as an artist, or more generally like a human being?
Can we just quickly sum up the bahasa Indonesia?
Ada pertanyaan jadi soal dari Singapura, karena ini karya lama tahun 2005, sementara sekarang udah 2018, 13 tahun. Gimana perasaan Pichet dalam menarikan karya ini dulu dan sekarang?
The most changing is from the student into the master. You see the image. Yesterday I did the rehearsal and then I saw the photo. I'm like, oh my god. I'm transformed into the master now.
So there was already a disconnect of time because the interview took place when you were 27. The first time you performed, 2005, you were how old? 34?
Yes, around that age.
So there was already a disconnect.
This is a big change for me. I can't move my imagination myself, and there's very close relationship with my master, like 10 years before. Yeah, because the last 10 years when I performed this production, I'm very deeply. Some night I'm crying. Yeah, because this production I create for my master. He's passed away. Yeah, some night I'm crying, and he's passed away 3 years before. Yeah, in like 2002. Yeah, in 2002 he's passed away, and then I stopped dancing for 3 months, because I feel my body is lost the energy. And one day I went to the studio, and then I used the pants that is from him, and then that is from my master, and then I do, and then I look at the mirror, and then I start, oh my god, he's here, because all my movement is look like him. And then I thought, okay, he didn't go anywhere. He's inside my body. And then I start to do I am a demon. Yeah, I'm really deeply. And from now, I think I disconnect about the spirit with him. And then my body is changed. My face is changed. But it's something new happened. It's something new happened. It's like I take his position. Yeah, I take his position. I be a master. Yeah, and I think he's very happy and proud of it.
You want to try and interpret that or understand? Okay. Any other feedback or comments? We have one waving hand, one hand there, another one at the back, I think. Can't see.
Selamat malam, Pichet. Saya Ratri dari Jakarta. Pertanyaannya
pakai bahasa Inggris.
Bahasa Inggris saja. Hi Pichet, I'm Ratri from Jakarta. My question is, since you first performed it in 2005 and received controversies in your country, and I know over time you've become well known in the contemporary performing arts scene, performing with Jerome Bell abroad, have you performed this piece back in Thailand, and was there a different feedback or opinions from the dance scene in your country since then?
Did you get more than 3 people now?
Other than that?
Okay, from now I get more audience, but it's very sad is the conservative people from the National School of Dance, they say no for this production, and this production is become exam in class every year for the student. When the students start to do a thesis, don't do this kind of yes, it's still the exam. Yeah, this is not the right way. But for the normal audience, they will love it. They enjoy it very much, and they see something they never see it before about the body of the tradition.
Thank you. Maybe one more last question.
Hello, my name is Ria. I just would love to say that I really love the way that you use the shadow behind. Well, I always have this imagination, if it's, performing with shadow, it means that we can see the soul of it. So it's not just only the object, it's not only about the body, but it is about the soul. So I really love to see, I love seeing how, these images and your body is there, but also we can see someone else there. And the way that you just say it about your master just now, it's suddenly just, it just gave me that image that he is there. Thank you.
In another hand of the concept of the Southeast Asian classical dancer, from the beginning until now, I always say like I hate the culture, I don't believe in the culture, blah 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 blah. But in fact, I really love it. Yes, when you love it, you hate it. Yeah, and the master is very important for Southeast Asia for me. Yeah. The master is the power. It's the power of us. How to use them. How to use them. Don't let them use us. Yeah, this is the idea, how to use the master. No, when you use the master is still alive. He's still alive. If he used you, when he passed away, he passed away. Yeah, you are in the control. Things in different way. Yeah, how to use it. Yeah, this is my idea. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. One last question from UD.
I'm Yudi from Jogja. Actually, I'm right now kind of curious. What are the objections from the masters, or from the conservative community of this traditional dance? What are actually the objections? Why they refuse to accept this piece? Because what I heard now is only from one side, from Pichet. But what are the, why they refuse this? What are the reasons?
So you kept saying that the master and the traditional community back in Thailand, in Bangkok, they, number one, for this show, they use it as an example of what not to do, and they always refuse, or they always criticize what you do in terms of performance. What exactly what is it that they criticize? What do they say? The reason, what do they say, and what is the reason behind what they say? When they see your work, what is it they say that is bad?
It's very interesting. They didn't say anything. Yes, that's why I keep fight with them. Because they didn't explain anything why bad, but they keep talking about culture. They're talking about this is not a part of the culture. This is the God will destroy your life. This is a bad way. Blah blah blah. They keep talking about this. Yeah. For me, I'm very welcome for table together and then share the idea. Why? Yeah. But yes. I want to know like you too. Yeah, because I really want to know why. This is like how many years? 13 years? More than 10 years?
Just this performance. I mean, every time.
Every time. Okay, one thing I can tell you is about the power. About the power. It's a conservative. Because all the traditional in Thailand is belong to only one school. Only one school. Yeah. That school take all the power, the whole country. Yeah. If you want to do something, you need a permission from them. Okay? Understand? Yeah, understand? It's about the power. Yeah.
like many Asian or Southeast Asian countries, when we talk about classical work, there is always a very strong authority or governing body. And this school that Pichet talks about is considered the governing body. It is the one that controls how the form should be for every generation. And to complicate matters, this particular form, Kon, that we've been talking about, is also has a patron who is the king, the Thai king. And it gets even more complicated when you are talking about Thai culture and Thai religion, where the Thai king, I think in most Indian or Indian influenced countries, the king is also seen as the god. And so whatever the god says, that it becomes rule. So that's part of a bigger picture. But from my own experience, I can say that when I talk to some of his dancers, who are also classically trained in many different ways, when they talk to other classical dancers, I think, and we've talked about this before, other masters would actually say Pichet is being disrespectful to the art form. For instance, he stripped himself and he does the classical dance in a small little underwear. That is a huge disrespect, because you're not only disrespecting the art form, you disrespect your master, and ultimately you disrespect your king. It always leads back to the higher power. So it's complicated, it's very complicated for sure, especially in complex contemporary times. The other way to look at it is that there is also the school who produces these classical dancers who feed into the tourism industry. And the tourism industry, and Thailand, of course, is famous for that. So someone who goes to Bangkok to witness this dance, eating in a restaurant in the 70s, tells somebody else and tells somebody else. And somebody who comes to Thailand in the 90s will still want to see that form exactly like how their grandfather saw it in the 70s or 60s. And it doesn't change, because what happens when it changes? It shakes the economy of tourism. It is no longer considered classical. When actually everything else about it is actually still traditional. Your values, traditional values are there. The culture is still there, but it has to move, right?
So, the one thing is, you have like another question from you maybe, why they cannot stop me? Yeah. Yes, because of my master. My master is the most very important master in Thailand. Because in Thailand we have 7 persons got the permission from the king. Yes, 7th master. He's one of the 7. Yeah. And when I do classical, no one cannot complain me, because everything is from him. Yeah, when I do the real classical production. Yeah, no one cannot say this is the wrong way, because everything is from master. And then everybody know I belong to which master. Yeah.
One last word. If any of you are fortunate enough to be in any other country or in the world where Pichet Klunchun's dance company presents a classical work, please go and watch. It is really quite spectacular, and the amazing thing is, I do feel that he's one of the few contemporary dancers in Thailand who actually respects the classical form, the so-called original, authentic form, because of the kind of training that they do in your studio. He may do contemporary work, but when I go and do research on his work, every day they start training in classical first, and then they move into contemporary work and contemporary exercises. On that note, I would like to also then let you know, for those of you, you may want to sign up for his master class, which is happening on Monday, where he will share with you some of his experiences. On that note, thank you very much. I think we'll call it a night here.